Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. Today, we're back at it with the entitled people and just no mail stories, one of which being posted by photographer OP. If you missed the amazingness that is no nonsense photographer OP, I will link her other stories in the description below. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it, shall we? Let's sing our praises as a child comes out of the birth canal, aka the time this photographer had to remove a male from the birthing room mid-push. Now, in addition to photographing weddings, I also photograph births. Concerts too, but those stories aren't as fun as these. I know that it may seem utterly disgusting to photograph this moment, but honestly, it's one of the most amazing things to witness and capture for my clients. So many of them treasure having the birth of their children documented. As the moms are busy, bringing a human into this world, they often don't see the details of the day, so it's nice to have them to look back on. Nothing gross is captured thankfully, so I really enjoy these sessions. My first birth was with a couple that have since become great friends. I've captured 2 subsequent births for them, and each time has had some sort of drama occur. But the first birth? Wow. Upon arriving to the hospital with mom and dad, we got mom induced and all settled in. After about 5 hours, dad's family arrived to visit for a few minutes and all seemed well. I could tell that Mill wasn't too stoked on me being there, as she felt that me photographing the birth was unnatural. Mom and I let that slide because we knew what was happening was fine, but Mill kept asking me personal questions about myself. How long have you been married? 4 years, Mill. What does your husband think about you photographing these types of events? He doesn't care, Mill. He's busy doing his own job and not worrying about what his wife does to earn a living. Okay, I may not have said that one. It was much nicer, but it's what I meant. And so on and so forth. I tuned her out, but they stayed in the room for 3 or 4 hours while mom was busy laboring. Mom was far too nice to tell them to leave, and I didn't want to step in unless it became necessary, but I could tell that mom was getting annoyed. At one point, during a rough contraction, Mill started to pray very loudly, and at that point, mom asked that everyone exit and that they would call when baby arrived. Side note, I have no problem with religion, and my clients are very religious, so them praying was not the issue at all. It was the encroaching manner of it, and their refusal to let mom labor in peace that was the problem. Mill was not happy about being asked to leave. This was the first grandchild. She needed to be nearby to help mom and dad out when baby arrived. After all, mom's family wasn't able to be there. They lived on the other side of the country, so family should be present. Mom and dad stuck to their guns and told Mill, Phil, Sil ×2, and Bill to leave. Can you imagine how crowded it was with all those people, myself, mom and dad, and the nursing staff? You can see how mom was annoyed at this point. When it finally came to push, they get mom in the standard hospital-approved birthing position when suddenly we hear loud singing of the hymnal variety outside the door and in walks Mill. Like literally as mom is trying to push a gigantic baby outside of her, Mill comes in and starts singing praises and thanking God Almighty for letting mom and dad create this new life for the family to enjoy. She can't wait to see her grandbaby enter this world. Now push, mom. God is here to help you push. Mom is screaming. Dad is screaming. The nurses are trying to push her away, and I get off my perch behind mom's head. No crowning shots in this dojo. And help the nurses wrangle Mill out of the damn room. As the door is shutting, I tell her to not even think of trying to come in again, or I will personally throw her out of the room myself. Mill is furious with me, saying, God has given us this gift. I need to see it come to fruition. I gave her what I imagine is my most confused/angry look and slammed the door. I ran back over to mom and told her that I would handle Mill if she came in again, but dad handled that for us thankfully. He went out and told his mother to sit in the waiting room or she wouldn't get to see the baby for 6 months. She went and sat down after that, but we could still hear her singing praises from the waiting room. Soon after, baby is born, tearing mom something fierce on the way out, but she's healthy, which is all that matters. After they clean her up, sew mom up, and get breastfeeding started, Dad steps out to tell the family that the baby had arrived. We can hear Mill asking when she gets to meet her grandbaby, and after an hour or so, Mom allows the family in. Mill literally takes the baby from Mom and walks to the other side of the room to oogle her. I get some cute photos of Mill and Co. meeting the baby. Phil was particularly adorable with her, but they were entirely ignoring Mom. Like, the only people besides the hospital staff talking to her were me and Dad. I saddled up next to Mom as she rested and let her know that at any point we could ask them to leave. Just say the word. They ended up staying for 4 hours, only giving the baby back when the mom insisted. You know, because she needed to feed and bond with her daughter, but almost immediately after baby was done eating, Mill would snatch her up again. I was so furious on their behalf, because it meant that for the first 5 hours of their daughter's life, she spent more than half of it in other people's arms. There's no major you to Mill in this story other than during the birth, but Mom and Dad made the unilateral decision to not allow any family to the births of their other 2 children until well after they had bonded and spent time together. And when their son was born earlier this month, they didn't allow Mill or anyone else to meet the baby until after their daughters had met him. So for 1 agonizing hour, Mill was forced to sit in the waiting room while Mom and Dad bonded with all 3 of their kids in peace. Well, with me there taking photos, of course, which I think ticked Mill off more. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Literally. Mom is having one of the most intense experiences she will ever have, and Granny is over here belting out praises and thanking Jesus. Like, how about thanking your son and daughter-in-law as well, by giving the poor couple some damn space? I'm sure Jesus can hear you just fine from out in the waiting room. My husband and I must be evil or something, because we didn't let anyone see our newborn for a week, and it might even be longer next time. Bride invites me to a wedding and expects me to pay for the venue. Haven't spoken to her in 2 years, by the way. So this friend I made in university and I were once close, until she got engaged 2 years ago and cut off all her single friends because she's too good for single friends and can only now have engaged or married friends. I haven't spoken to her in 2 years since then and have since gotten over it, since it's been a while. I get an email today and I thought it was spam. Turns out it was a wedding invitation. Not personally from her, but from her coordinator inviting me to their wedding. At the bottom of the invite was a bill for $400 to pay for the venue plus $150 for the meal. I know this varies around the world, but where I am, the bride and groom or maybe their family pays for the venue and food. Not random people you don't talk to. 20 people in total were invited to the wedding. You could see all the emails in the sent to bar. So I guess she's pretty much only inviting me to help pay a cost. I would never have the balls to do that to someone, especially after telling them that we can't be friends because you're engaged and can't have single friends. And no, I'm not the kind of friend that parties or drinks. She cut off any friend she had that wasn't engaged or married. Edit. Okay, after I declined to her coordinator, the bride messaged asking why I declined, so I'm gonna give my response. Update. So, after she sent the message asking me why I declined, I just said, it's impossible to finance that. She didn't say anything. I spoke to the mutual friend. The mutual friend isn't going, but was told about the mandatory payment prior to the invitations going out, because basically like other users here suggested, I was the plan C of people to invite, and she really needed people to come to this wedding because the venue gives her a discount if the quantity of people reaches a certain amount. Everyone in the wedding party is not paying, so I was like a last resort type of thing. As for everyone wondering who the fiance is, no one has met him, not even the mutual friend, but he was in charge of a club at her university, and I've heard he's kind of a dick. But no, you cannot harvest and bear fruit from a tree you never watered. Dang, the audacity. You know what? My cousin kind of did this as well. She had a destination wedding, and if a certain amount of people booked, there would be a group discount. But instead of dispersing the discount amongst all the people who paid to travel for her wedding, she just pocketed the money and basically got her own flight and resort stay for free. I was pretty cheesed when I found that out because it was not cheap. Oh well, the wedding was actually really fun and the resort was amazing. And also, the marriage is now over and I don't really talk to this cousin anymore. So, all's well that ends well, I guess. But anyway, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed these 2 Reddit stories. Please leave a like and subscribe if you want. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!